Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Barker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
To see what racing we got this evening. Should be good racing, good tight racing around Donington.
Are you new to the gambit of punditry and co-commentary and everything, or have you done anything like this before?
No, I am very new to this. It's my first time, so yeah.
Well, don't worry, you'll be absolutely fine. Hopefully, you'll be better than me anyway, because someone needs to be. I'm excited for this championship, though, Harrison. I believe you are a racer in the actual real-life championship. We'll get into that in a second. But first of all, Donington Park is where we are hosting the 4th round of this fantastic championship this evening. Of course, we are doing the non-Melbourne loop look at it, Donington Park. We're not going all the way out to the back skirts of the circuit today. And this is how the championship is shaping up going into Donington, the 4th round. Gabriel Norse is top of the pile. He's been absolutely flying, with Scott Bugner in 2nd place. Nice to see Scott actually have a bit of an upturn in fortunes. The last time I saw him, he was a little bit further down than where he would normally be liking, but 2nd place, and with a shot going for Gabriel, I'm sure he'll be very happy. Kieran Haynes, another driver that I'm not so used to calling out. It's Jack Smith, very used to Jack Smith, and Luke Cooper in 5th place. That rounds out the top 5. Oliver Gibson, Jack Smith's brother, in the top 6 with Andy Dorman, Lee Pearcey, Rich Hayden himself, and Miles Ragg round out the top 10. And 11th down to 20th, you can see right in front of you there, a couple of notable names that have been around the VRRC for an awfully long time. Chris Blakey, of course, Andy Carroll, Thomas Potter, Paul Laramie, Kenny Press, along with a whole host of new and improved driver roster that we've got. One driver who I'm not entirely familiar with, Leon Frost. I do believe Leon, I think, is one of the drivers that is in a real world in this championship, the Formula Ford 1600. I've got a little bit of notes on him from Alan Bowers, the championship director, so we will hopefully cover that in a little bit. But you can see that we've had not only 20 drivers, we've got a 3rd page of drivers to come as well. And I'm sure they'll be coming on the screen. There it is. Sam Walton down to Sam Skellett in 30th place. A really healthy, well-attended championship, this one. It's got a lot of people excited for VRRC, and I've been keeping an eye on the Discord. A lot of people have been chatting about it. A lot of people were looking forward to it, and now we are well in the rhythm of it all. I think it's still just as well attended. Looking at tonight's testing times as well, I believe we should have about 30 drivers out there on circuit, and maybe even 32. The team standings, of course. Now, team standings isn't something we normally do here at VRRC, but due to the Super Classic Pre-99 Formula Ford having that sort of team aspect, we might as well bring it up. Team Carbug, absolutely top of the tables with Scott Bugner, that includes, and I'm thinking it's Andy Carroll. Yes, it is still Andy Carroll. The Team Carbug. DK Power Racing, well, that's if you're used to VRRC viewing, you will know exactly who DK Power Racing is. Jack Smith and Oliver Gibson, of course. Swift Cooper, I believe that is Luke Cooper and Kieran Haynes, 2 drivers that are inside the top 6, so it's no surprise that they are well within it. In fact, actually, Kieran Haynes is Swift Cooper Jr. I do apologise. I got my notes slightly wrong on that one. Luke Cooper and Miles Ragg are Swift Cooper in the top 3 of the team standings, all the way down to Leon Frost Racing No guesses to see who is in Leon Frost Racing. The only driver, in fact, actually, Eden Garage Motorsport, Andy Dorman's the only driver. Gabriel Norse, I was wondering where his name was going to pop up. The only driver in his particular team as well. So that is the team championships. That is the overall standings for the drivers. And as you can see in front of you, we have the top drivers from the previous round at Silverstone. Top of the podium, Gabriel Norse solidifying his championship lead. Oliver Gibson in second place, jumping him up to that 6th place of the championship. Jack Smith with a strong return to form in 3rd place, although normally, as I said, we're used to seeing Jack right on the tipping top of the podium. If we do get to have a chat with him later tonight, which we normally do have an opportunity, we'll be asking what on earth he's playing at, getting 3rd places. And Oliver Gibson getting driver of the round as well. Always happy to see a couple of drivers sharing the driver of the rounds. Now, before we get into the hot lap, this is, of course, a real-life championship, the Formula Ford 1600 Super Classics. They do kick off on the 12th of April, Brands Hatch, Indy. You can see it in front of you, the 2026 real-life calendar. I know that the sim stuff is a bit of a warm-up. It's a bit of a something to wet the whistle, shall we say, and hopefully the drivers enjoy getting back on circuit on April the 12th. A couple of fantastic circuits there, Harrison. It's suited to be an absolutely brilliant season.
Oh, yes, definitely. I think the tracks are very good for Formula Fords because it's small tracks, keeps the pack tight with each other, so the fights throughout the field are immense.
I think I remember seeing or commentating on the Formula Fords way back at Croft about 2 years ago, actually. And I have to say, there was a bit of a big crash, but ignoring the crash, it's stunning racing, isn't it? I mean, you can properly go wheel to wheel in these things.
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, the wheel-to-wheel action I've had on track is amazing. You can just go like 2 wide, 3 wide into corners, and everybody's so respectful. It's amazing.
That's exactly what we want to hear. Hopefully that translates into the virtual world as well. Now, if you're wondering what the cars look like, how they might react approaching the likes of the Donington Park circuit, well, worry no more. I believe we've got a hot lap. I'm going to guess it's by Jack Smith because he's done every other hot lap that we've ever seen in VRRC for the past year or so. So please do enjoy a hot lap of the fantastic Super Formula Ford Championship around Donington Park. Are we clear? Now, I commentated on VRRC for a good 2 or 3 years straight, basically almost not missing a week in that period, but that was always qualifying. We always led into qualifying at this point, and we used to have a chat with the co-commentator and see a little bit more about what Harrison might be up to and everything, but instead, we're going straight into race 1 because, of course, qualifying doesn't really exist in the Geoff Page Engineering pre-Super Classic, pre-99 Formula Ford 1600. That is an awful lot to. It's a bit of a mouthful, but anybody who's watched this will know it's a well-worthy mouthful. It's very tasty indeed. You can see that we've got the top 20 of the championship reversed, which is a little bit complicated, but given the fact that there is no qualifying, it means that we see a whole host of drivers right at the sharp end of the table that maybe we're not used to seeing. And if anybody was looking and maybe taking note of the championship order, it means that we got Christian Gillian on pole position with Callum Einstone on second place. Kenny Press, Leon Frost round out the first two rows, and then we get Alex Forster, Thomas Potter in sixth place, which means he must be 14th in the championship, slightly lower down than we're used to seeing Thomas Potter these days. Mason Turner in 7th, Andy Carroll 8th, Chris Blakey and Miles Ragg round out the top 10, which means we're likely to see pretty heavy action for the likes of Gabriel Norse, Scott Bugner, Kieran Haynes, Jack Smith, Luke Cooper, all of the top 5 of the championship, charging through from 20th to 15th place, all the way up into the podium positions. And Harrison, around Donington, there's quite a few overtaking opportunities. There's quite a lot of slipstream opportunities as well. It should be a pretty decent first couple of laps. We just hope it's clean. Yeah,
definitely. You got ideas going into Redgate and down, obviously, the start-finish straight. Out of the chicane and last corner, you can slipstream, start finish straight into Redgate. There you can.
I was going to say, you may because of the talent in the car, but my goodness, it's more difficult than you think. And we are away. We didn't even get the lights, just didn't bother even lighting up. All of a sudden, I think there was a slight lag spike, and we are racing with Callum Einstone taking the lead around the outside of the circuit. It's going to be a long, sweeping right-hander, and everybody just about gets through, which I'm quite proud of them, to be honest. I was expecting tangles of tyres and people almost flipping over into the first corner, but it looks like everybody's just about managed to get away with it. Thomas Potter losing out a place to Leon Frost as they go down to the old hairpin, a little bit of touching and barging from behind, not using all the track there, Thomas Potter, and getting overtaken as a consequence by Andy Carroll, who moves up into 7th place, and Miles Ragg from 10th up to 8th initially, even halfway through the first corner. And Harrison, you get the impression he didn't use all the track and he got mugged for it.
No, I mean, in these cars, you really have to use all the track. You have to push the car to its limit to maximise that corner exit. And if you don't, you just get left like a duck.
You do indeed. And Christian Gillian, though, has managed to get back that race lead. Mason Turner, apologies, in 2nd place. Alex Forster in 3rd. Callum Einstone dropping down to 4th place. And there's almost 3 wide going into the final chicane. That's never normally the way you want to enter that corner. And it's not normally the way you want to exit it either, as somebody has gone stage exit left all the way into the tyre barrier, which is a bit of a shame, but sort of obvious really when you put 3 wide into that corner. Now 3 or 4 wide into any corner doesn't normally work, and Harrison, we've seen that going into Redgate. Another driver falls by the wayside. A bit of a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the thing with these cars, because they're open wheel, if you get to touching wheels, it can always end in disaster.
Is that a bit scary as you go into real life? I mean, it's one thing in the sim, but I can imagine going down towards old hairpin, knowing that even the slightest touch can mean the end of your race. Does that not sort of get a bit scary in the car?
Yeah, but I think you just have to trust the other driver, because you know that mutual respect is there, and they won't cross that bound and touch you.
I'm going to say, whenever I've raced in cars or anything like that, trusting the other driver is not really something I fancy, to be honest. But I like the fact that this grid has the standard of driving is good enough that you can potentially do that. Christian Gillian has managed to pull away by about a second, which is very impressive indeed from Mason Turner, Leon Frost. But this whole gaggle of cars are all fighting over 8th place, to be honest, with Andy Dorman and Luke Cooper. Luke Cooper sliding his way up the inside. Of course, one of the real-world drivers in this championship that Harrison will be able to tell us about a little bit in a couple of minutes' time. But at the moment, we have to focus on what he's doing in the virtual world, because he's going door-to-door with Andy Dorman, a pun that I never cease to enjoy, as Kieran Haynes and Rich Hayden also getting in on the action. In fact, Rich Hayden right behind Scott Bugner as they go down Hollywood through Craner Curves. Is he going to look there for that dive at the inside of old hairpin? No, he tries to just back out of it for the time being. Nice and early on the power, all the way up the hill now. It's a very long way if you're going to have a compromised exit. We saw Thomas Potter getting mugged up the hill. These engines don't have the grunt to get you out of a mistake going through old hairpin. Scott Bugner made no kind of mistake, and Rich Hayden avoids the curbs as well quite heavily. And I remember racing around Donington quite a lot, Harrison, where you always smack the curb as hard as you can. Are these cars a little bit too twitchy for that?
Yeah, you can get into the bit where if you take a little bit too much curve, the rear end starts to rotate more than you want, and you can lose quite a lot of time.
Rich Hayden clipped the curb and managed to just about get it all sorted. He goes through Scott Bugner, and I think there was someone off in front of him as well, which means he may well move up 2 positions in one go. Mason Turner's gone for the race lead. In fact, there's 3 going for the race lead. Leon Frost is there as well, and I think Christian Gillian has been mugged by both of them as they looked in the inside of one of these 3-way sandwiches going into Redgate. Christian Gillian on the inside for Craner Kurtz, well, through Hollywood. Not going to have the inside for Craner Kurtz. That must mean Mason Turner. Is he going to get his car across? Yes, he is. He protects the braking zone. And up the hill, Christian Gillian misses the apex of Old Hairpin. Going to hurt them dearly. Leon Frost will manage to pull away as Mason Turner's entry was a little bit compromised. But the slipstream, Harrison, is probably getting Mason Turner back within touching distance of the race lead.
Yes, definitely. That slipstream is so crucial because you can just be a sitting duck at the end of the straight with none of it, and somebody can just go right up to behind you and just get slip out and into the corner and just dive up the inside.
Makes the racing very entertaining, though, doesn't it? It's exactly what we want to see from any championship, especially cars of this. Well, with cars of this kind of nature, it really does sort of aggravate the extra sort of impetus to maybe, oh, I might be able to get a run. Let's have a little lunge up the inside as well. But then, because the engines aren't that brilliant, it means if you compromise both of your entries, you're probably going to get mugged by the person behind. So Scott Bugner versus Rich Hayden here could come into the hands of Luke Cooper halfway down the straight, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. When they start battling, it's so easy just to catch up, and then you can get into that battle and take advantage of it.
See whether Luke Cooper is able to do that, as Rich Hayden is still all over the back of Scott Bugner. He did manage to get through, but I saw as they were going through the final chicane just before we cut to that race lead battle that he slightly, he slightly ruined the exit going out the final chicane. He looks like he's slightly ruined the exit coming out of Old Hairpin. Rich Hayden is nothing but ballsy on a racetrack, but you do have to keep in mind he does run these championships and he doesn't want to upset any of the paying customers, shall we say. So he likes to get involved, but he's nowhere near the dirtiest driver on the grid, that's for sure, because he's always races with as much possible respect as humanly possible. Right, I'm looking for a couple of other drivers, Harrison, and one of them was Gabriel Norse. He's only just made his way inside the top 10. There he is, in fact, going into the final hairpin. Now, final chicane, sorry. Now, himself, he's got Andy Dorman ahead, he's got Luke Cooper, he's got some quick drivers. But the likes of Thomas Potter, he slipped down to 15th. I really don't think this is his kind of formula, potentially. I'd love to have a bit of a chat with him. But Jack Smith, I mean, I saw him get the fastest lap of the race a little while ago, but I cannot see him on the live timing, which is a bit of a shame. I can't see him anywhere, actually. I wonder if he's DNF'd. Can you see Jack Smith anywhere, Harrison?
No, I can't. He
That's
might have been
interesting.
involved in one of the incidents.
On the timing screen on my browser, he was actually in second place, but he's obviously not in second place because Mason Turner's in second place. So I'm not entirely sure. It says he's down in 14th now as I've refreshed it. So yeah, Jack Smith way down the order, very unusual. Here is the DK Power team. As if I just looked at the feed, then I would have known that we've already found him, himself and his brother Oliver Gibson, running well down the order. This is not going to help their championship at all. But the problem is, Harrison, once we've mentioned the toe a couple of times, once you've been broken by the couple in front, by the people in front, it is hard to try and get back into that slipstream and catch back up to the other drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But if I was them, I'd just stick behind each other and just push themselves down the straight, because that's how you're going to gain the time.
Does that actually happen in real world? Do you find that you end up working together with the people alongside you, even if you haven't prearranged that?
Yeah, there comes the times where you can be a couple car lengths behind a gaggle in front, but you and another driver just stick behind each other and push yourselves along, and eventually you catch up to that big gaggle.
Very interesting. Luke Cooper just about defending from Gabriel Norse. Now, Gabriel Norse ruining his run through Old Hairpin means Andy Dorman's interested, and Andy Dorman's snaking all over the road, trying to find a way past. It did actually look like Gabriel was able to lunge one at the inside of Luke Cooper, but I loved the speed that Luke kept round the outside, kept his foot in it, and proved why he's a handy driver in the Wheel World Championship. Is he this tough and brutal in real life?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's a force to be reckoned with, I would say.
Yeah, Alan was giving me some notes about him, actually. He runs a karting academy at Castle Combe, I believe, and has brought along 5 drivers for this particular esports championship. It's looking to be very, very sort of good deal indeed, as Luke Cooper goes round. As I was just reading my notes a little bit below, seeing who the other drivers that he's brought along, he's actually been turned around. Did you see what happened, Harrison?
I don't. I think he might have just clipped somebody's wheel, or somebody just clipped his rear wheel and sent him around.
That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Christian Gillian dropped outside the top 3 as Miles Ragg just ahead. Now, what can Christian do? Looks one way, looks the other. Have they given the fake to the driver ahead? And Christian Gillian not all later on the brakes, though. Miles Ragg holds on to the position. Remember, Miles, I think, started 10th on this race, all the way up into the podium positions. Very impressive indeed. One of the feats that would probably make him well worthy of a mention of driver of the round if they keep it up going into the second and third race. But Andy Cowell and Scott Bugner have caught right up. No sign of Rich Hayden anymore, as Scott Bugner has managed to pull away as Miles Ragg goes straight on through the final complex. That's not ideal for them. Outside the top 3 now, well might be outside the top 5, even dropping down behind Gabriel Norris. We'll have to keep an eye out on it. Rich Hayden hasn't really managed to catch up. There we go. Has now overtaken Miles Ragg. So Andy Carroll up into 3rd place. Kieran Haynes getting that fastest lap of the race. And we're only halfway through. It's extremely exciting. I'm guessing anybody who has tuned into this before will probably know what to expect. But my first time commentating on it, I didn't expect so much changing of position. It's absolutely fantastic. Scott Bugner getting very loose with the rear end there. Getting a little bit lucky that Christian Gillian just didn't really sort of take advantage of that. And he lives to fight another day. Miles Ragg has re-overtaken Rich Hayden, and you can see him in the rear view mirrors of Christian's car. So although lost the top 3, it hasn't really lost masses of space. There's every opportunity, Harrison, that he could pick this one back up, and with 9 minutes to go, that 3rd place is still an option.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if they can just work together and get their heads down, definitely.
Leon Frost competed in the Walter Hayes Trophy last season, raced all season with the Super Classic Championship, which means you must know him relatively well. We'll come back to him. He's leading the race as Scott Bugner defends from Andy Carroll. I mean, did you know he's a bit of a weapon behind a simulator as well?
Oh, I had no idea he was quite a weapon. I've raced him in real life, and I've had a fair share of side-by-side action with him, but all clean. And yeah, I had no idea he's such a weapon on the sim, but he looks to be doing comfortably 111s, low 111s.
Why haven't we got you on the sim, Harrison? Have you not got one?
No, I do. It's just I'm a bit busy with building my car for this season.
Ah, I see. An excuse already. We'll get you on the next one. It's absolutely fine. We'll just plan your time a little bit better for you. It'll be sound. No, it's good to hear that you're actually putting the car together yourself, though. It's exciting to hear. Does that make you nervous going into the race, or does that make you go a little bit more confident knowing that you've put it together yourself?
I think I have a bit more confidence because I know how everything goes together. I know how much I can push the car a bit even more because I've got that kind of more mechanical knowledge.
Mechanical understanding. Do you have any mechanical sympathy to go along with it, or do you just think I'm going to rag this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you've got to have a happy medium.
A happy medium is exactly what we want to hear, as Rich Hayden looks for the move upside the Gabriel Norris. Now, we saw a little bit of what you were talking about before there, Harrison, where he was almost pushing him down the straight. He was that sort of bump drafting, really, trying to make sure he was making the gap from Miles Ragg behind, who Rich Hayden has now overtaken, and Christian Gillian. Do you see that quite a lot in the real world, where they sort of, you get that slipstream, you're actually physically pushing the driver ahead? Yeah,
definitely. I think when you're in such a gaggle of one person's left out to dry, there's countless cars can just go past and just push each other past.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? If you're the driver who is defending it, you really do get mugged. But then you have to keep in mind that obviously there's every opportunity that you can do the mugging in about a lap's time, because as long as you don't get lost out of the slipstream. So Leon Frost well out in the lead. Well, last time, well, when we started talking about him, actually, he was about 2, maybe 3 seconds ahead. Now it's 4.5. Look at Christian Gillian, Miles Ragg cutting the nose off a little bit going into the braking zone. It's a little bit touch and go, that one, whether Miles Ragg was sort of slightly moving across there, Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite tight with these two, but as long as they're respectful to each other, they can't complain.
Yeah, I wonder if Christian will see that as a respectful move across going into the braking zone. It'd be good if we could have a chat to them. But of course, we only get a chat to the top three. And at the moment, Leon has pulled down another half a second on Mason Turner, who I don't know whether he's struggling with tyres or pressure's getting to him or anything like that. Maybe he's just made a couple of mistakes, but Scott Bugner is reeling him in hand over fist. And I'm just looking at the previous laps. The last lap, yeah, it was a 1:11.1 by Scott Bugner. It was a 1:11.9 by Mason Turner.